Hello, and welcome to the Disgruntled Traveler podcast. Now that I've got your attention, today's story is about when I traveled to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Where is Kuala Lumpur? Well, it's one of the biggest cities in Southeast Asia. So if you don't know where it's at, look it up on the map, okay? But anyway, this is really taking it back because I've been on the road now traveling for approximately a year and a half now. And where did I start? My very first country and my very first city was Kuala Lumpur. I spent a month there. That was my very first country where I landed when I started traveling solo. So, it was interesting. Kuala Lumpur is huge. There's a lot of ethnic diversities within the country. So you can't say everybody's Malaysian. You've got people from China. You've got people from India. There's people from the Middle East. I mean, it is such in other parts of Asia. So not just the Malays or the Chinese. You've got people coming in from Vietnam and Thailand. They call it Little Asia, I believe, or it's the melting pot of Asia. It's the melting pot of Southeast Asia. It almost can represent just about everybody within Asia, right? So I would say, that's a good way to get your feet wet, especially when you're starting out and traveling. No problem, right? But there was this one incident I have to tell you. Me being a greenie, okay, totally green, literally off the boat from America to Malaysia, not knowing, some of the cultures and all of that. All I'm doing, I'm hungry, okay? Like, I toured a big portion of the city and my stomach's growling and I'm like, man, I'm smelling some really damn good food, right? Really damn good food. And I'm like, at first I was going to get on, Google and check the best ratings for a restaurant. I said, screw it. I'm right here. The food's coming from these restaurants across the street. So I'm looking at him, and I don't really, like I said, this was a year and a half ago, so I don't really remember the name of this place. But I do remember that it was a Persian-based restaurant. What do I mean by Persian? I think, now I don't know for sure, okay? I'm just guessing by the way how the people looked and what the food was, but I think it was like Iranian or Iraq food. It was Persian food, okay? So they're there representing in Malaysia, right? So I'm like, the place was crowded, okay? So this was like, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The place is packed. Like there's people out on the street waiting to get into this one restaurant. And then I saw another restaurant. They're all Persian restaurants. I saw another one right next to it. And it was crowded too, but it looked like it was a little more, empty. So I could get in right away and get something ordered and eat and get out, right? So I didn't think nothing of it. I rolled up, I walked up in there. Guy comes right up to me, goes, "Can I help you?" And I was like, yeah, table for one, I want to eat. Is there a wait? And he goes, "Oh, no. He goes, I take you back, table for one." This was like a 2-story, 2-level kind of restaurant. And it was like full. There's a lot of people in this restaurant, a lot of activity. Food smelled so good. I was like, my stomach was like in happy land, right? So I'm following him, and he takes me back to the back right. The kitchen was like straight. Like if you kept going straight, you would run into the kitchen, right? So he takes me straight and off to the back right in the corner. And there's like a 2-seat table. And I'm like, that's cool. That looks good. It's cozy. I'm happy. He goes, "Is this okay?" I says, "That's fine." So to the right of me, there's this really long table, right? With all these guys, right? No women. I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, whatever. And they sort of like were like glancing at me a little weird. And I was like, I don't care. I'm hungry. I don't care. Right. So I'm just paying attention to the menu. And the waiter comes in and he says, would you like something to drink? I says, yes, maybe, give me a tea or something. And then I told him what I wanted to order, and he went away, and then he came back and he brought my drink, right? So I'm just in my cell phone, like I'm waiting on the guy with the drink, and I'm just like, everybody else, you're in your cell phone and you're sort of oblivious to what's happening around you. So I get my drink, right? And I'll demonstrate. So I'm doing this, taking a sip, looking around. And I started to feel like eyes on me, like a lot of eyes. Like, because when the dust settled down and I got my drink, like that's when I first started to feel this stare down going on. And it wasn't just the guys to the right of me. It was like the whole restaurant. Okay. So yeah, I'm sitting here like this, just like looking up casually and just like looking around. Put my drink down, and I noticed something just hit me like a freaking rock. I'm the only woman in this restaurant. And I'm looking around, I'm like, wait a minute. I am the only woman? And I said, this can't be real. Like, there's got to be other women upstairs, right? So I'm like just sort of glancing upstairs, and I'm still having like these dudes like glancing at me. And I'm looking around like, holy shit, I am the only woman in this restaurant. So then thoughts are running through my head. I'm like, well, you know what? I really don't care because, hey, no competition. Because there were some good looking men up in there, okay? So I'm just chilling. I get my food, not thinking anything about being stared at. Although it was very uncomfortable to try to like maintain my composure and just like have a casual meal. But I was so freaking hungry. And I ordered 3 different things, and it came with bread. I had so much food, like my eyes were bigger than my stomach kind of deal, that I actually had to have half of it wrapped up and taken back with me. But yeah, I was just like eating, enjoying myself. And then the man's like, would you like some more tea? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Give me some more tea. So he cleans up the table and I get my tea. And the guys next to me, they're done and they got their tea, like Turkish tea. And they're still like just like glancing over, sipping and glancing over at me. So I'm sipping and glancing back at them. And I'm like, this is so freaky weird. And I'm like, okay, well, they're not kicking me out. I guess they're just puzzled, thinking like, does she not know this is a male restaurant? Like, is she not feeling uncomfortable? I mean, they could tell I was American. They can hear me speak American. Everybody else was speaking whatever language they were speaking, but I didn't hear no English, if you know what I mean. But luckily the waiter spoke some English. So anyway, I get my takeaway and I'm walking out down the main aisle, right? And you got all these tables that are spread out across from the main aisle. So I'm just like, casually walking out. Place is crowded still. All these heads, all these guys, they're literally just following me like, and I'm like, yes, I'm the queen. Let's go. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. So I'm walking out. Now I'm just the green American who doesn't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm done eating. I'm getting the hell out of here because the vibes are getting really strong up in here. So the owner of the restaurant was right up front. I went to go pay him and he goes, how was the food? He was real cool. He spoke some English. I said, the food was excellent. I said, your food is just dynamite. I was so hungry. And I said, I couldn't even eat it all. I have to take it home. And he goes, oh, thank you very much. So I asked him, and I was like, casually pulled him aside. I said, I sort of get the feeling, I don't see any women, so I'm sort of getting the feeling, because I've been like sort of gawked at the whole time, like, is this an all-male restaurant? Like, is it against your law to serve a woman? Like, what's going on? Because I'm getting these vibes. And he goes, well, yeah, I mean, technically women don't come into this restaurant. We have a few here and there like you that happen to wander in. And he goes, but they usually have no women in here, and it's usually an all-male dining environment. And I was like, okay. I says, that explains a lot. But yeah, it was the strangest experience, one of the strangest things that I experienced on the road. But remember, I am the Disgruntled Traveler!